Oh.
Oh. It's
Farquaad.
What on earth?
Oh my, it doesn't exist a question. He's dead.
The locus of the missing out the Esquire.
Mr. Natsume.
Oh, why? Well, why is this happening? Why to me? I've only just got out of court yesterday. I was finally home after 2 days of misery. And then when I wake up the next day to this, the early birds should catch a worm like this. Awful worm without wiggle.
Oh, that's a great name for a musical album or something.
Now that I see his stuff, he's more to like Shakespeare than Farquaad.
Yeah.
I see you in high spirits again this morning, Mr. Mustache. Ah! Oh, the horrible Herlock shows. Shoo, come on, show yourself to the door. I never invited you.
I don't think he likes you.
Mr. Sholmes came here with us. I'm quite sure he'll be able to help you, Mr. Natsume.
I am entirely at your disposal, Mr. Mustache. What can I do for you?
Not arrest him this time, maybe? Oh, hi.
Hi.
Oh, God.
Hey, look, more people that I voice.
I was gonna say.
Here they are already, the busybodies. Ah, Inspector Gregson, what a pleasant surprise.
Present, listen. It was Hartford. Every time I see your face, there are questions, so.
You sure it's not that horrible bag of fish and chips you keep eating?
Fish and chips, yeah.
The same
Infinite
bag?
Fish and chips.
I deduce, Inspector, that your hot boil is the result of your excessive consumption of high food.
Thank you. Good morning, Inspector.
This is a crime scene. Don't you go touching anything.
I wasn't gonna. Or good morning to you too, sunshine.
Oh.
Beautiful. Let's examine this. What is... Oh, that's the gas meter, is it?
Yeah.
Oh God, was he like carbon dioxide poisons?
Yeah.
Carbon
probably.
monoxide, probably, in this case, if it was gas. Because I
Oh,
don't
yeah,
think carbon
carbon
dioxide...
monoxide,
It'll be
yeah.
carbon monoxide. At least that's like the modern thing.
No,
the modern hazard.
you can die from carbon dioxide too.
That too, yeah, but I think like at least like the modern way, if you have like a gas furnace, it would be carbon monoxide that actually is the byproduct
Yes.
of the heating.
Oh, oi! I said hands off. You're gonna mess up my crime scene.
I was just looking at it. But, no, I just wanted to look, that's all.
No chance. I know your kind. You'll mess it up just by looking at it.
What? Someone's in a bad mood.
There's certainly some bad air in here, isn't there?
Oh, it's probably just the gas. Do you want to shut that off?
Someone's dead.
All right, it sounds like I'd better talk to the inspector first, then try to curry some favor. Someone get Iris. Hey there, how's it going?
How's it going, dude?
So, Inspector, what was the victim's name? Who was he?
Mr. William Shakespeare. He was a lodger here.
Shakespeare, I love it.
I just noticed that his king outfit has a big ass on it.
As you can probably tell, he was an actor. A bit of a dead loss as it happens, or just dead.
Mr. Shakespeare.
Never heard of him.
Was the
What a
landlord,
name.
old Mr. Garadeb, and the other lodger, Mr. Natsume, who found him. It's found it right as the usual hour, so Garadeb got worried and kicked the door down.
Of course he did.
As one does.
Hey, wake up!
Are you sure he didn't blast it with the cannon he has in his apartment? But doesn't Mr. Garadeb have a bad leg? Yeah, exactly.
Mrs. Garadeb doesn't.
Oh yeah, you're right there. It was that cheery Japanese hunchback over there who actually did the kicking.
What? That's Karani dude? Really? Soseki-san?
The victim was pretty hard up, it seems. Even done some time inside for petty crimes. Oh. He had no money, no place to go, and no friends. His only acquaintance with the people in this house. Miserable life and a miserable end to it.
So, what exactly is Mr. Natsume still doing here? He's not involved in the investigation, so shouldn't you have sent him away from the crime scene?
He was a witness.
He's a
or
witness.
something.
Well, I'm not saying it's because the fella looks odd or anything, or that he acts suspicious.
But he does look
But I
odd. He
am
does
saying
act
it's because
suspicious.
he looks odd. I thought it would be prudent to take a statement from the corporate cohabiter.
You nearly said culprit there, didn't you?
Oh dear, Mr. Natsume appears to be under suspicion again.
It certainly seems that way. He does come across as such an odd fellow, doesn't he?
Poor man, how unfortunate. If only he wasn't so fucking weird.
Anyway,
only
I can't say
If only he wasn't so fucking Asian.
can't say much until the coroner gets here. But I don't think the fella's been gone for that long. The body's still warm.
Even if the inspector would allow it, I don't think I could bring myself to touch that body. That's what the coroner's for.
Has nobody checked for a pulse?
He's still holding the fork. He might still be alive.
I don't think rigor mortis settles that quick.
No, it doesn't actually. That takes a while.
Yeah.
What a terrible thing to have happened.
What a terrible night for a curse. It'll be 3 days since I was arrested on the incident on the pavement road.
Well, look at it this way. You haven't been arrested. Yet.
I mean, he was held.
Well, for this crime, I mean. It's not
And then
worse.
having finally regained my freedom, it starts happening all over again.
He's not in handcuffs.
Endless existence of excruciating experience.
So, the victim lived here on the ground floor and your room's just 1 story up, is it? That's an interesting way to spell story. I've never seen that.
Yeah. I always put sorry as in Toy Story.
Yeah, the story.
Yeah, that's right. In a way, we were neighbors, I suppose.
Might just be the British way of spelling it, actually. So, did you know the victim? Were you friends? That's a no. That's a double no.
Looks at the body.
Triple no. Quadruple no.
That is a lot of nope.
What's the matter with Soseki-san now? It was an innocent enough question, wasn't it? Why does he seem so shaken by it?
Well, I suppose he wasn't a complete stranger. But did he ever invite me to his room? Never.
See, if this was an early Ace Attorney game, there would be Cyclops appearing now. Because that guy lying.
Yeah.
On my honor, I swear it.
Yeah, I think you're lying.
What an extreme reaction. You're probably wishing you'd never asked now, aren't you, Mr. Naruhodo?
When we found him here, I felt wretched, which is why I sent word asking you to come. To that inspector over there.
Oh, so that's how. Up,
Wait.
Sholmes?
So why? Oh, hey. So if Gregson did not want us to be here, why did I guess he didn't know what the contents of the letter was.
Mm.
Hey.
Well,
Yes. Mr. Sholmes, what are you doing?
Ha! You need only observe to know it, my dear fellow. Investigating, naturally.
by JoJo posing.
There's nothing natural about that pose.
It is a good point of view.
Mr. Sholmes, have you made some miraculous discovery?
Miraculous ladybug.
Patience, my dear madam. Patience. We have not been here in this room 5 minutes.
Actually, I will time this.
So far, all I've managed to deduce is what actually happened.
Oh, do tell.
Wow. I wonder why.
Is it
Are we gonna
is it already time for a logic and reasoning spectacular?
Yeah, I was about to say.
But isn't that everything we need to know, Mr. Sholmes?
Now that you proposed the idea, I believe one could indeed see it that way. At the present time, I managed to draw 2 incontrovertible conclusions.
Incontrovertible. Okay, let's hear those.
The first, that there was a physical struggle here last night in which the victim fought for his life.
Debatable.
Ah! Ah! Ah!
Mr. Natsume, what's wrong? Is something that Mr. Sholmes said significant somehow?
No, don't mind me. Forget I was here.
His eyes.
Right?
My second conclusion is that there was a poison lingering in the air here last night that passed the victim's lips.
Maybe not so much his lips as his nose or lungs,
Yeah.
but yeah.
Is he gonna... Dozens!
Are you okay? All right, Mr. Natsume, why are you reacting so extremely to Mr. Sholmes' seductions?
So many expressions. No, please, pretend I'm not here.
It's hard
I'm
if
cool.
you keep yelling like that.
Invisible, ineffable, inscrutable, insignificant.
Impossible to ignore.
You must tell us everything, Mr. Sholmes. Spare no detail.
But of course, let the theatrical tragedy before us be unraveled by my great deductions, presented for your pleasure in 2 acts.
We've heard some truly astounding great deductions from Mr. Sholmes in the past. No doubt this will be no exception. What miracles will unfold before our eyes this time?
So, my dear fellows, for your delight and wonder, let the curtain rise. For Herlock Sholmes' Logic and Reasoning Spectacular, Act 1. The foot is gay.
All right, cause of death.
POD.
Interesting.
Careful observation of the victim reveals us to the events that transpired in this disconsolate room last night.
He's foaming at the mouth.
Foam at the mouth of the deceased clearly indicates the use of poison.
Okay, Natsume reacted to that. Is that butter or cheese?
Next to the victim, we notice a large dining plate which contains, you observe,
Or maybe a block of sulfur, I don't know.
or butter.
It's
One half of
soap.
the size of a bar of soap.
Well,
Meaningful, indubitably.
okay, that's where the
And
foam
then
comes
question
from.
mark.
That's probably where the foam comes from, man, if he ate soap.
And then, question mark? Why
Wait,
is this soap
wait,
set so
wait.
purposely up
Did
on-
Natsume steal his cheese and swap it for a piece of soap? Is that what happened?
Like the victim's last supper, in fact. Yes. Could it be that the man was about to eat it? Of course, the fork reveals the answer.
I love that face that Natsume making here, huh?
It's also
Sure.
like super bold for some reason.
Yeah.
He's staring at us like an episode of The Office. It appears that the young man's appetite was his undoing.
Oh, you mean the soap was laced with poison?
Taking up arms in the form of scuttlery, the victim engaged in a deadly battle for his life.
What? Who arms themselves with a fork?
Yet the struggle against his target was in vain, for in the end he couldn't resist devouring the sleepily feast. The London's foul soap is besmirched by foul poison. Yes, the victim's life was claimed by poison that was tainted by the contents of the plate.
Oh, interesting.
No.
Possibly.
Yes, no, so the bold things are the things that we need to fix.
To correct, yeah.
Yeah, of
Yeah.
course.
The soap and the lather about the young man's mouth are too perfectly matched to ignore. The cause of death was clearly intoxication due to excessive ingestion of foul soap.
Foul soap. Oh, nice.
Well, personally, I have a great interest in the taste of foul candle wax, of course.
Why am I not surprised you ate candle wax before? Okay, let's roll with
Now
it.
it's up to the poison, right?
Suicide or murder?
The cause of death identified, we proceed to Act 2, where we pondered the next question. Was this suicide or mierda?
Mierda.
That's me. You okay there?
Mierda! The audience will recall the audience will recall that death occurred to the victim's last supper. Did the man dine and die alone? The single teacup suggests the answer. Hi, to draw a conclusion of such meager evidence, however, scintillate. The careful criminal could have absconded with his own cup to cover his tracks. Well, allow me to lift the veil of doubt, my dear fellow.
Oh.
Indeed, what reveals the answer, of course, is the broken lock.
No, they had to kick the door down. Did you not listen?
Though forced open now, at the time of the incident, this door was locked. And the sole key was in the victim's pocket.
Oh.
In other words, when the victim consumed the poison, he must have been alone. Alone with his inferior soap, from whence wafted an inferior scent. And with that acrid aroma lingering in the air, the victim met in tragic solitude. We can take comfort only in the fact that his soul was well cleansed on his way to the hereafter. Cool.
All right. Nice alliteration.
Thus concludes the final act of Herlock Sholmes' great deduction.
Cool. I got my doubts.
Nice.
Same. Me too, Sunshine.
Okay.
There's just one thing, Mr. Sholmes.
You are disposed to identifying just one thing, aren't you, Mr. Naruhodo? Pray, what concerns you?
Well, no matter how hungry he was, do you really think the man would have eaten soap?
It is quite apparent that this man had barely a penny to his name. It is a curious thing, but to one so destitute, soap can suddenly appear quite irresistibly appetizing.
How extraordinary.
In truth, I have tried a little soap myself in the past.
Why am I not surprised?
You know, as
You've
one
eaten
does.
it, you mean?
My dear fellow, it was some time ago now. My postulation was that it would cleanse my gut.
And did it?
Yes, I threw out
Yes.
everything. As
A little too much.
Yeah, I was about to say, he threw it up. As I writhed in agony on the floor and spilled the contents of my stomach, yes, I believe it did.
I mean, isn't soap
Not the way I wanted it to, but it did.
isn't soap like basic and your stomach is acidic, so wouldn't that actually mess up your whole digestive system? Just a thought.
No, just the stomach part.
Oh,
The experience
True.
taught me a valuable answer. Soap is quite poisonous.
Yeah,
No,
it is.
you
I mean-
know.
technically it's just glycerin.
It has an unpleasant taste and leads to great discomfort. In summary, I cannot recommend it.
Believe me,
cannot
I wouldn't eat it
recommend
even if you did. Or even
0 out
if
of
you
10.
did. Would not recommend it.
There's something that troubles me as well, actually.
Well, no, not actually a 0 out of 10. More like a 1.5 out of 10.
You can eat it. That's the only
You
positive
can't
thing.
eat it. It's not pleasant, though.
Oh, what's that?
It's Miss Natsume, Setsusato.
Thank you, Susato.
Duh!
Oops, I missed it. I don't like to recognize.
I couldn't help noticing him shuddering and quivering out of the corner of my eye.
Same.
We detect movement, you see. Almost as if Mr. Sholmes' touches touched the nerve somehow.
Hello? Not without consent.
Nonsense.
Well, that clenched teeth episode didn't last. Maybe his jaw hurts.
I think, judging by Mr. Natsume's reaction, Great Detective Sanction may need some gentle corrections in order to reach the actual truth.
You mean discussions. We're not correcting anything here. Yes, Mr. Sholmes' observations and deductions are sometimes a little too sharp. He has a tendency to hit the nail on the side of the head and drive it into on the side of that and drive it in at an obtuse angle. When he does that, it falls to us to straighten things out.
Haha, you know, you're not
All right then,
straight.
let's see what we can do.
Yes, we must pick out the keywords in Mr. Sholmes' quite brilliant deductions,
I wonder what they are.
and discreetly exchange them for something that makes a little more sense.
Discreetly.
If we can do that, I'm sure we're right what Mr. Sholmes meant to say in the first place.
He's just confused.
In that case, are you ready for the second performance of the day?
If I must.
Once again, my dear fellows, for your continued delight and wonder, let the curtain rise. For Sherlock Holmes' Logic and Reasoning and Spectacular, Act 1, Part 2.
Course correction. Hold it, Mr. Sholmes. All right. Yes.
Common amount of indicate there was a poison. Yep. The victim will notice a light dining plate which contains the will observe.
Soap.
Will have a sizable bar of soap. Meaningful? Indubitably.
Indubitably, ooh.
The suppository, like the victim's Last Supper effect, yes. Could it be that the man was about to eat it? Of course. The fork reveals the answer.
Hold it right there. Well, you can't deny that a fork implies a man was eating something, or about to eat something.
Yes, that's true. If I were to decide to eat some soap, I should prefer to use a fork than to attempt it with chopsticks.
And of course, only half of the bar of soap was left on the plate.
But might there not be some other explanation? Something material that proves whether or not the man really ate some soap?
So, let's spin around. Oh!
Oh, there's the soap.
The other piece of soap.
Another piece of soap.
Oh, okay, that's all I can move. Okay.
Yeah.
Other piece
And
of
it is
soap.
like the perfect fake.
Look, there's more soap on the floor here. Mr. Shamsby must really love this stuff.
Holy shit, I love soap!
Let's not jump to conclusion, Mr. Naruhodo. Look closely at this soap. Do you see that it would fit together perfectly with the half bar on the table?
What the? How can that be?
I think that they are two halves of the same bar that broke apart.
You think?
Okay, so...
Present.
Soap.
Take that!
Take that! Oh, that piece of soap reveals the answer.
Could it be that the man was about to eat it? Of course, the other piece of soap reveals the answer.
It being the other half of the soap on the table, in short, the victim was not eating soap at all. But it is obvious, really, for no depth of hunger could drive any man to attempt to eat soap.
Well, you changed your opinion that real fast.
Even I, with my unquenchable thirst for practical knowledge, took only a single bite.
But that begs the question of how the man was poisoned, because there's no sign of any food on the table.
An excellent observation, Mr. Naruhodo, and one that furnishes us with the answer we seek. London's foul soap is besmirched by foul poison. Yes, the victim's life came by poison that tainted the contents of the purr.
Mr. Sholmes is still pushing the soap argument then.
Perhaps he's suggesting the man licked the soap rather than ate it.
If soap in London is poisonous, I don't think I want to be washing my hands with it. There's no sense of any food in this room at all.
Of course, food is the only thing that passes people's lips, is it?
He was kissed.
Mwah.
It has to be the teacup, right?
Yeah, it's
Probably, yeah. No, this. I just want to see how far I can pan this.
Yeah.
Nothing much.
Yeah.
Oh, can I check? Yeah, I can. Okay. Yes, a Western vessel for serving of infusions of dry tea leaves. I love that. I love the Wikipedia definition of a cup.
It's a teacup, Mr. Haruna, though. As you well know, stop putting on airs. Stop being a pretentious prick. And it's empty.
Ah, so we've already established that the victim wasn't eating soap when he died. However, there's significant evidence to suggest he was drinking tea.
My thoughts exactly.
Take that!
Teacup.
Ah, yes. The victim's life was claimed to have poisoned that tainted the teacup.
Indeed, cups have been the vessel of choice for practicing poisoners over the century. And it would appear that this victim drank every last drop.
There's no sign of food anywhere in the room, because Natsume stole the cheese.
Which leads us to the immutable conclusion. The cause of death was clearly intoxication due to the ingestion of poison contained in this teacup. Poison.
Yeah, that makes more sense.
All right, topic 2.
After that, in 95, we proceed to Act 2, where we ponder the next question. Was this suicide or muerte? I love the audience.
The audience.
We recall the last occurred on the victim's last supper.
Do you remember, kids?
Man died and died alone. The single teacup suggests.
Ah, the Western vessel for infused hot drinks again. It's already featured heavily in our deductions so far.
Heavily.
Yes, we can imagine that shortly before his death, Mr. Shamspeare was having a drink of tea. But there would be nothing remarkable about that. But what troubles me
It's Mr. Natsume's
is
reaction.
Mr. Natsume's...
That's
Yeah,
me.
that. Sorry.
Mr. Natsume's reaction when he heard Mr. Trump suggest it.
No. It's the teacup talking.
Oh,
Yeah, I was about to say the teacup thing.
There's more.
Thank you.
Oh, what was the teacup names? The teacup's name in Beauty and the Beast? I forget.
Chip.
It was Zip.
No, it's Chip. In
Chip.
English, it's Chip.
Chip, you're right. Chip, yeah, because he has a crack.
Yeah.
He has a little
It's
piece
a
missing.
chipped
Yeah, he's chipped.
lid.
It's Chip.
Brim,
Right.
rather.
He's holding the other teacup.
There's 2 of them.
It's another Western vessel for infused.
It's a teacup! And it too is empty.
It's also chipped. Given that he's actually holding this one in his hand,
We can assume this is the cup from which Mr. Shamspeare is actually drinking.
but if that's the case, this changes everything. Everything we've deducted up. Exactly.
How did you mess up your own internal thoughts?
I have no
idea.
This realization just completely messed him up in the head. I have a bad feeling about this. I almost don't want to say it. Thank you for your compassion, Sasato.
I'm sorry. I was distracted.
Swallow the teacup.
teacup.
Suggest the answer.
It was the other cup. Did the man dine and die alone? This other teacup suggests the answer. Yes, there were 2 teacups in this room all along.
Dun, dun, dun.
In other words, this is a strong indication that at the victim's last supper. Fair play, is that you? There was a guest present.
That look like it. At the very least, we can now say with certainty that somebody else was here in this room last night, taking tea with the victim. What are you talking about?
I wasn't here.
Utterly, unbelievably, unjustly unreasonable. To draw a conclusion on such meager evidence would be foolish, however, simply.
In which case, what can we deduce about this possible guest at the table? That's me talking.
Oh, fuck. Sorry.
Fine.
Well, allow me to leave the veil down, my dear fellow.
Oh, do you mean to say you know who exactly was in this room at the time of the victim's death?
Indeed. What reveals the answer, of course, is the broken law.
You sure about that? I'm not sure I like where this deduction is going now.
I'm afraid it's too late to go back to the halcyon days of eating too much soap.
So
The
many
identity of the
language
guest who was here last night when the victim passed away is something I have a very bad feeling about.
Well, you can try to ignore your feelings, but we cannot ignore the truth, Mr. Naruhodo.
Search
Well,
your
facts
feelings,
don't-
Mr.
fact-
Naruhodo.
Facts don't care about your feelings, Mikotolo.
No, I suppose not. Time to look around again.
2023.
What? Hello?
Pile, the very colorful pile of books.
Yeah, it's probably the books that Soseki bought. I want to check the bottle
Yeah.
though.
It's empty.
Empty of liquid, but full of air. That makes you think, doesn't it?
It makes you think that you're full of hot air. We should be thinking about who else is in the room at the time.
The sass.
Father, Soseki-san's quip in response was cleverer than my original riddle. Those all got off place. At first glance, it seems that the only things in this room are a makeshift stage and the costumes. I overlooked these 3 books initially.
I wonder what they are. Let's see. The titles read.
Is
yeah,
it the 3 books that
from the
Soseki
list.
got?
That's what I think. Picture of Monsieur Lecoq.
Picture.
Yeah.
From Shodakok, contemporary yearnings, and a meal for Gaboyo.
I think that's how you pronounce it.
I have no idea. I'm just gonna roll with it. Yeah. Wait, I'm sure I've heard those titles before. Yeah, yesterday in court.
It could just be an incredible coincidence, but they're the exact same 3 books that Mr. Natsume purchased the other day.
That would be one hell of a coincidence, eh? What? Yes, on the day of the unfortunate incident when Miss Green was stabbed, Soseki-san had just been to a bookshop and bought them, that's right.
And now those 3 titles are here in the room of the victim.
Yet Mr. Natsume claims never to have been here before. What does this mean, do you think? What does this mean?
I really don't know what to make of it.
What does it all mean? Pile of familiar books. Okay. Let's try those.
Take that!
You're a pile of familiar books.
Indeed. What reveals the answer, of course, is the pile of familiar books.
Quite so. It's no mere coincidence that these 3 titles are here in this room. It's the link to the truth.
Mr. Natsume, you purchased these books 4 days ago at a secondhand bookshop.
That's just a coincidence. In that case, you will be able to bring the same 3 titles from your own room, will you not? This very moment. No, never, non-negotiable.
If you can't bring your own copies here, it proves that these 3 books are in fact yours. Stretch. Nice pose. Having purchased the books 4 days ago and returned to your lodgings, you were arrested the very next day. So you could conceivably have brought the books here on that evening, but you never mentioned that.
In other words, you could only have brought these 3 books here to the victim's room. Deb. Last night, having returned to your lodgings after the trial concluded at the Old Bailey. In short, there is only one possible conclusion. The victim died here in his room last night as a result of poisoning.
And that same night, the victim had a visitor.
And that visitor...
was you, Mr. Soseki Natsume.
I'm just pointing. Thus conclude the final acts of Herlock Sholmes' great deduction.
Now you can arrest him.
Solved. Elementary. Considering the starting thing where it did appear Shakespeare here, do you think he actually faked his own death, or at least tried to poison himself to try to get Soseki to get arrested for some reason?
Maybe, but pretty absurd. But
I mean, the whole like faking your death thing is usually a thing to like get away from death or something like that, right?
Yeah, the drawing at the beginning where we got the flashback being narrated by, I believe it was Wilson.
Yeah,
it did appear like Shakespeare was like a mastermind in some plan or sorts
with a name like Shakespeare.
And it's weird that he's here, like
dead. So I don't know. Not again, not again, not again. Not again.
Well then, Mr. Natsume? Mr. Natsume? It appears you're gonna have to accompany me again.
You know the deal. Let's go.
But all your horses.
Yeah?
Door, key, locked. Entry, exit, entirely impossible.
He's so flustered he's being even stranger than normal.
What? You think that's an alibi? You could have just made a copy.
What?
Of the key, true.
Hmm.
You live in the same building after all. You have plenty of opportunity, I'm sure.
But misery me.
Sorry, sir. You'll get your chance to give your side of the story later.
The facts speak for themselves, Mr. Mustache. You horrible Herlock Sholmes.
Really has found himself an arch rival now, hasn't he?
Come on now, no dilly-dallying. Outside, there's a carriage waiting.
Local son and Mr. Naruto Esquire.
Yes, yes.
But you have to help me, please, please. I'm innocent.
All right, I understand. We'll come to your cell later and talk about it.
Alright, I'll be your lawyer. Oh, Morphine.
Oh, yes.
My poor little kitty cat. Please give him this breakfast for me.
And so, his evil curse still apparently unbroken, Soseki-san was found himself once again the prime suspect in a case of murder. Well, technically the first case wasn't a murder because she was still alive. Thanks to the incriminating deduction of the great detective and myself.
My dear fellow, the honor belongs to you. You're the one that course-corrected me.
Exactly. Should have just left it at he ate the soap. Well, at least it means Inspector Rexton's no longer here. Hey, let's go. We can examine the crime scene in more detail now.
And then Susato was thinking very loudly.
Yes, that's right. And of course,
What?
have you forgotten what the inspector mentioned before? It was the landlord, Mr. Garydeb, who discovered Mr. Shamspear.
Ah, Mr. John Garydeb, yes.
I expect we could find him in his sitting room on the top floor as usual.
Right. We must remember to go and talk to him later then. Hey, crime scene, let's go.
Hey.
This is some sort of makeshift stage, I think, isn't it?
Where does the audience sit, though, for the nightly Shakespeare performances?
Actors aspiring to be to the great stage must practice their arts, Mr. Naruto, with or without an audience. In fact, on a related note, perhaps you should set up a mock bench for the defense in your office.
What?
You put a wig on the Darumat to think it's Von Zeeks.
Then you can practice your art every single day.
Objection! Hold it! Objection! Hold it! Objection! I think about
Take
it.
that!
If you promise to don a beard and play the role of the judge.
Well, if that would help you achieve your goal.
This I have to see.
Same.
There's probably fan art of that.
And it's probably adorable.
Yep. This is a gas wall light, isn't it? It must be connected to a gas pipe in the wall. No, what makes you think that?
Gas lights, a gas stove. London really is a city of gas. They fart a lot.
I was gonna say. But now that I think about it, Mr. and Mrs. Garydeb had an open fire on the top floor, didn't they?
Oh yes, you're right. I don't recall seeing a gas stove up there.
No, but they had a cannon. Well, I much prefer real fire anyway. It's so much cozier. window.
As we've seen from the outside, the window is completely bricked up. The vestige of the former window tax that Britons had to pay.
What strange things they used to tax in Great Britain. I mean, making people pay for the number of windows they had in their property? It's extraordinary.
It's heartbreaking to think of the poor having to black up their windows just to avoid an unaffordable tax. Oh!
What is it, Mrs. Hutto?
If you look closely, a number of the bricks are loose.
Oh, do you mean the two in the bottom right there? Well, hello.
Yep.
Soap!
Soap!
Oh, yes! It looks as though an amateur has broken out a few of them just here. Was it Mr. Shamspear, did I wonder? Being the lodger renting this room.
I think more importantly, an opening in the window, meaning that he probably was never in danger of being like...
Yeah, a gas leak.
True.
Probably never a gas leak because of that.
Or, no, he could have a gas leak, but he was never in danger of suffocation because there is air passing by.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
Look at this, Mr. Naruhodo. Soap! On the outside, there's a little ledge. And there's something on it. Soap!
What, outside? Do I actually have to go outside? Really?
That'd be funny.
It's so cold outside. You can feel it through this gap.
It did snow all last night. It would be cold. But more importantly, what is it on the ledge out there? What are those snow-covered lumps?
It's soap!
Soap? What are bars of soap doing lined up on the ledge outside the window?
Man, there's so many soap in this case.
I have no idea.
Maybe he was performing soap operas.
Anyway, thanks for having me, Billy.
Anyway, I gotta go to bed.
I'll be here all week. By all means, come back whenever you like.
But the pair of them look rather charming like that.
Still, that's very strange, isn't it? Bars of soap
Kith.
lined outside the window. I think perhaps we should take one. There are two, after all. He won't miss them.
Oh dear, I suppose we could. Oh, what's this? Look here at this soap.
There's a message etched in it. Ah. Oh. Interesting.
It's a button.
Did you see in the middle there?
A wax?
There's a button.
It's a
It
wax seal?
explodes.
It's the shittest dice in the world.
You have to roll a 0 or a 1. There's no in between, and there's no other options.
Or
There's
the
a patch.
thickest dominoes.
There's a patch that's a different color. It's sort of transparent, but
Some sort of fancy design, I suppose. Only in Great Britain.
it looks like the Hinamaru flag of Japan, doesn't it? How wonderful. It's probably a very expensive brand.
That looks like one of those like dishwasher tablets.
Oh, kind of.
Expensive? Then what's it doing in this ramshackle old room?
Is he reselling soap? Is he doing like the Fight Club thing?
Oh my God, he's
Soap club.
doing counterfeit soap.
Rule number 1,
He's
you
making
do not talk.
counterfeit soap.
You do not talk about Soap Club. Rule number 2, you do not talk about
buys-
Soap Club.
He buys soap, brands them with fake labels like the fucking violin, and then he sells them. That's the point of the violin, to give the example.
Hence his last name.
Shamspear.
I want to look at that soap now.
Whoop.
This bird is a different color. It's an exquisite design, isn't it?
It's just a circle.
Trust the British to turn a boring bar of soap into something special.
It's just a circle.
I quite like it. It reminds me of the Hinamaru design of the Japanese flag, like I mentioned before.
Yeah.
I expect this is rather expensive soap.
It doesn't seem likely given who it belongs to. Can you take it apart? Do I need a bucket of water?
We probably need the context for it.
Yeah.
Yeah, probably.
Cool. So we have an orange lens.
One second, I need to do something. r/vexillology, the flag of Japan, but it's actually a bar of soap with a round thing in it. You get that reference, kudos. Costumes.
Like, comment, subscribe if you got this far and got the reference.
Look at these extravagant bright costumes, though. Some of them look out of place in this room, which is grim, shady, with its grim, shady goings on.
This one looks like a king's attire.
What makes you think that?
The crown.
A king? I always dreamt of being a king.
Oh, I think it'd be more suited for a feudal lord, a daimyo or such like.
A daimyo.
A daimyo.
Sorry,
That would be a
sorry,
daimyo.
I read that wrong.
Mario.
With a chomage top knot? Every Japanese man wishes he had a chomage.
Oh, you look wonderful with one. And you already have the sword.
Now I'm just imagining, what's this phrase? From One Piece.
Whatever.
No, okay. I'll just put it in editing, it's fine.
Good television.
Yeah. Can you imagine what would happen if I walked around the streets of London with a chomage and a sword? I'd get arrested.
Yeah, the chomage makes all the difference. If you have a sword.
Exactly. Just a sword, no problem.
There's not much on these shelves, is there? Just this wine glass and bottle. And both of them are cracked.
Yes, not much use, are they? What's the matter?
Oh, I was just reminded of the Reaper, that's all.
Oh, his
Don't worry, we'll talk.
prostitute the Lord Zeeks?
Yes, he's so reckless with his wine glasses. I was thinking it's a waste and that he should donate some to the needy.
He has so many.
Yeah.
You can suggest it next time we meet.
If they have no food, let them drink wine. Why is that in front of the king outfit?
Oh, there's also a loose board here. It looks like something. I don't know. Yeah, what is that?
Or just shady
Yeah.
board. Could be both.
A shard.
Nice piece of glass or something.
That's it.
It's a piece of something.
Looks like part of an envelope, I think. That's supposed to be paper, okay.
Okay.
Yes, I think you may be right. Perhaps it was torn off when the letter was opened.
The letter?
Is that significant?
Well, it's a little place perhaps when you look around the room. There's no sign of a letter, or the rest of the envelope is in fact is there.
Ah, she's right.
And yet here we have the torn off end of an envelope. It just strikes me as unusual.
I agree. We better take this, just in case.
Can you see
Ripped
maybe the
piece
other
of
side has
envelope.
part of a name or something?
Yeah, maybe it has an address on it. Whoop. That's the.
That is a thing.
Yeah, I was gonna say that is thick. Nope, nothing on there.
We can't talk about it for some reason.
Yep. Whoever opened this envelope didn't bother with a letter opener or scissors, did they?
Yes, whoever opened it was clearly someone with an unrefined temperament.
And a weird way to rip things.
And judging from the angle of the rip here, the person in question must have been right-handed. And making several strange poses at the same time.
Mr. Sato, I think perhaps someone's been reading too much of the Adventures of Sherlock Holmes.
You never read too much of it, Mr. Naruhodo. Never!
You learned so much. Also, F. I was just gonna say. The letter F.
This episode is sponsored by the letter F. Oh,
Well,
body?
yeah. 1 second. Gas meter.
Yes.
I'll save the body for last. And here we have another disproportionately large machine. Looks like a meter of some kind.
Ah, this is a gas meter, I think. It seems that in this district, residents pay for gas as they use it with coins.
Ah, I see. Yes, now you've pointed it out. I can see that there's a slot just here that looks like it would take a coin. So you mean if you put a coin in here...
That's right. That would buy you about 2 hours of gas for lights and heating.
Okay.
So if you were a poor person with no money, you'd have to sleep in the freezing cold? And dark?
Yes, or if you were a scatterbrain with no change because you forgot to exchange your money at the bank.
Just a
Thank
bill
goodness
of
there's no
10
meter in
bucks.
our office. Okay, do we get everything besides the body. That's probably all the body. Yep.
Okay.
Looks that way. Okay. Body time.
He does have a candle there, so he was not.
Oh, true. He was not in the dark. Yeah, you're right.
Yeah.
Oh, the
and he
poor
was not
man.
using the gas.
So young to die.
How old was he actually? Do we know? 31.
Yes.
Failed actor renting him room. Interesting. Huh.
The troll face.
Do you suppose it was a very painful death being poisoned as he was?
I don't know. All we can do now is hope that he'll be reborn to a better life.
Yes, I suppose you're right. I wonder. Do you think that putting our hands together in a Japanese prayer will help a British soul?
Maybe? Sorry?
No uncensored hold handy.
I made sure I had a reference at the ready just for such an occasion as this, actually. So you ran across so many dead people. This book is entitled The Beginner's Guide to Praying for the Departed the British Way.
What?
What a specific book.
Yeah.
I'll just reread it now. One moment.
Prayer? Is
Oi,
that
governor.
prayer? Is that a food? There's quite a spine on that book, isn't there? That's it. Oh, teacup. Teacup. Teacup.
Oh, one of those teacups Mr. Shakespeare and his guests drank from last night. Don't go drinking from them, Mr. Naruhodo. There's a bitter poison inside.
I'm not planning on drinking any, don't worry. Anyway, the
Did you
cups
not
are both
collect the
empty.
poison?
Oh. Apparently they're empty.
That's true. So one was Mr. Shakespeare's,
Hmm.
and the other must be the cup that Mr. Natsume was drinking from.
But Soseki-san wasn't poisoned, of course. Perhaps we should take these so we can examine them in more detail later. Well, one is pink, the other one's green. That's at least some indication of difference.
Yeah.
I have three. Okay, three guesses as to who this is.
I have no idea.
Popeye?
Oh, it's Rexon.
Oh, it's me.
Inspector Rexon, back so soon?
After I threw that little Japanese fella in the clink, I went and reported this to the investigation division. In 5 minutes' time, this place will be cordoned off by the yard. Where's the
Oh, I see.
coroner?
Well, we'd better be leaving then.
Poor Mr. Natsume must be feeling very low being back in his cell again so soon.
I'm sure. Oh, hello.
Oh,
We should probably go and
The Walking Dead.
What's wrong, Mr. Naruhodo?
Should I do him?
I have
I'm-
enough characters this episode.
I mean, I could do it.
I'll do it. I'll do it. I think I had the least rolls this time around.
All right.
Out! Out, brief candle! Life's but a walking shadow. A poor player.
Scene change.
That struts and frets his hour upon the stage, and then is heard no more.
I guess you were right, Shar. No one checked his fucking pulse.
Yep.
Is he just gonna do that and then die? Just for the bit? Now, how soundeth the next part?
It is a tale told by an idiot, full of sound and fury, signifying nothing.
Indeed! Oh, happy day! And now
fuck.
he's dead. What? Walking Dead!
Hey!
What?